there, I am Caden Matsapor, and we need to talk about the release of the first 3 episodes of X-Men 97 Season 2. Robert Downey Jr.'s Dr. Doom hasn't even spoken a line in the MCU yet, and we have already seen the return of Rama Tut, or as most of you know him, Kang! But of course, the first few episodes of the show has a lot more than just a really cool Kang tease, but it probably is one of the best adaptations of Apocalypse since, well, ever. And while I am 16 and still about everything Apocalypse, I think that this show alone has found a way to make them the most interesting villain yet, changing the way the general audience sees him enough so that he can be the next overarching villain after the multiverse saga, making Doom seem like a goth kid with parent problems.
What's with all the daddy issues?
But starting with the first episode, I was taken aback by the different intros each episode. I'll get to the others in a second, but as a person who had only seen the first season of the original show, I was astonished how well I was actually understanding everything that happened in the first season of the rebooted show. And the most genius decision ever made was making me fall in love with the character of Gambit in only the first few episodes of the rebooted season, only to kill him off in one of the greatest episodes of Marvel TV ever.
Remember it.
I'm in a glass case of emotion!
And then have him pop up in Deadpool Wolverine only a few months later, that made that movie so much better! Because in my opinion, I was so devastated to see Gambit die. But I never wanted him to just come back, and that would totally undermine his entire sacrifice. So having Channing Tatum play him and become an important character in Avengers Doomsday, I barely can remember Gambit's name before 2024, and now he's my favorite X-Man alongside Hugh Jackman's Wolverine. He really made a name for himself.
Woo, I'm about to make a name for myself here.
Anyways, back to the show at hand. We see as Nathan, Scott, and Jean reconnect and work through their mutations in the scenes that almost made me emotional only in the first episode, which was genius yet emotionally mean because this show really makes me feel the feels early. While I respect the show for it, I would have loved more episodes of the Summers family before the gut punch we see in episode 2 and them being separated again. Still, I guess they have a lot of story to tell and only a certain amount of time to tell that, so for now I think I'll forgive it because while it was an interesting decision to end that storyline after 2 episodes, I'm sure it will pay off later. My only actual critique for the first episode is the lack of Wolverine, and I'm sure we're going to be seeing him a lot more in the season.
Oh, I can't wait to see you again. It's only a matter of time.
Moving on to the second episode, the intro of this episode totally got me by surprise. Having Cable in the X-Force and having his X-Force fight the iconic X-Factor was an incredibly innovative way to tell a storyline like this, especially with the intro changing to fit their teams. It really shows the care put into the specific animated show that doesn't have anything to do with the MCU. But it definitely feels odd for Apocalypse to want to attack the X-Men in the 90s, so odd that some could call it uncanny.
Say that again?
But the reason I say this is because Newer wants to destroy them at their weakest, but it seems like that would just be at their prime. What if, instead, that Apocalypse decided he wanted to go back and destroy them in the 80s? They would just be starting the X-Men, and then he could team up like Magneto. This could be like a really awesome movie. Get Oscar Isaac to play the main bad guy, add some Quicksilver scenes. You could have the biggest movie ever. Wait. Honestly, I will say that that movie is underrated in costuming alone, but did anyone else notice that of all the people in X-Force, Cable chose Psylocke and Archangel, 2 iconic members of Apocalypse's Horsemen, reflecting how he is becoming more like his enemy? I'm so sure they did this on purpose, and it does seem like this X-Force will end a lot better than the last.
Oh, God. I'm gonna throw up in my mask.
Also, in all of the episodes, I just fell so in love with the costuming decisions. Did Cyclops feel a little over-designed? Yeah, but Wolverine's apocalyptic Batman look alongside Magneto's cowboy look makes me want to get an X-Men game just so I can unlock the skins from this season of the show.
The mask is really intimidating, huh? It's like Batman, except he can move his neck.
But getting back to the actual episode, I thought it was a really interesting choice to have an entire civil war happen between the 2 iconic teams and still tie it back to the character of Cable and his ability to believe that kids can do good and trust kids to do that good, like he did as a kid. But now I wonder, Are we going to have to watch an entire side plot of the adventures of Cable and this weird fire lady in an X-Men show for the rest of the season? Because it seems like an odd choice, but maybe I'll be surprised. Now it's time for my favorite segment, Where the Heck is Spider-Man?
I want Spider-Man!
This is the segment where I ask, where's everybody's favorite friendly neighborhood vigilante? And no, I do not mean the vigilante from DCU.
Oh, that's hilarious. I'm tickled. I would totally take on a blood curse for him. I would just rather kill the judge's family.
According to the logic of this animated universe, everyone gets their powers in the 90s, including Peter Parker. As Todd McFarlane's iconic 90s cover stated, he is the world-renowned non-mutant superhero. While I'm not saying he would just sit back and let X-Factor round up mutants, maybe he thinks that the whole debacle is internal. Since X-Factors are mutants themselves, why would they be cruel to their own kind? Also in the 90s comics, Spider-Man was busy fighting Venom, Grey Hulk, Magneto, Sebastian Shaw, the Carnage, and the Red Skull, all while the Sinister Six was actually reuniting for the first time in decades. Oh, and he discovered that his real name is Ben Reilly, and he actually is a clone of another guy named Peter Parker. Long story, don't ask.
Now, we don't have time to unpack all of that.
Basically, whether it's comic logic or show logic, Peter Parker just looked around at the whole mutant crisis and just decided,
I missed the part where that's my problem.
that was Where the Heck is Spider-Man? Back to my review. The third episode ended up being my favorite for a lot of reasons. One being, I love origin stories, and seeing Magneto accidentally interstellar Apocalypse into his own closed loop is a really interesting concept, because a Holocaust survivor teaching a slave to revolt against humanity is almost kind of inspiring. And while we feel the pain when Neward thinks that Magneto betrayed him behind his back, heck, I would say that this origin story is up there with Megatron and Transformers 1.
I'm done saving you.
Cannot wait to see what happens in the next episode. I am purposely keeping my thoughts on this episode short because I have very little notes, because they literally turned someone I always saw as a Darwinist nut with a Galactus love for genocide into someone we can actually kind of sympathize with.
As for you, I don't know you, but I'm sure you're a jerk. Hey, I've only been here a few minutes. What's going on?
Now it is usually time for my theories. But first, I really just want to break down what the heck is going on with the Kang the Conqueror cameo in Chronopolis.
Let us see who is more fit to survive. The slave or the conqueror?
Thought you were, retired.
To give a giant TLDR, basically, after some very controversial legal charges against Jonathan Majors, the actor who played Kang, Disney decided they didn't want their brand ruined by him, so they kicked him out of the role. Majors then claimed he wrote in his contract that only he could play Kang in all of his variants, including Or Mortis and Rama Tut. So they decided to just nix Kang after the Quantumania flop. And when they were deciding on villains, the contract thing was kind of vague because he's in jail. But I'm sure since they were doing Secret Wars, they probably already had Dr. Doomsday in mind to be the next villain in that movie. So they were like, what if we just made Doom the villain of both?
So many great candidates. I'm gonna let the finger decide. Wait. Whoa.
What is happening?
The Dragon Warrior! It's me!
Again, that last part about Secret Wars was just only speculation, but the rest should give you an idea of how out of pocket it is to see Kang in this non-canon X-Men show. Anyways, as we know, the Majors did play Rama Tut in Quantumania. I don't want to suppose anything, but looking at this guy for more than 5 seconds, I realized this guy does not look like Jonathan Majors. He also is not black. So, what is going on? I have a theory that might be wrong, but I might as well say it because it most likely is right. So, as we know in Across the Spider-Verse, people look different in every universe. Spider-Noir's universe is black and white, while Spider-Gwen's universe is in watercolor. And in Andrew Garfield, he lives in a universe that everything is live action. But let's say, if Tobey Maguire were to travel to Miles' universe, he would become animated. Hence the theory that Peter B. Parker in those movies is secretly the one from the Raimi movies.
My wife and I split up.
Do you? That's a little complicated.
But anyways, I think that the one we saw in Quantumania was altered to look like Kang when he traveled to the Council of Kangs in the live action world, because that's just what he looks like. I doubt that there is much of an answer there, but when he travels back to his homeworld, where the X-Men 97 takes place, he just becomes Egyptian and animated so that he blends in with his environment. Why does the universe shifting cause his race and actual animation to change?
What do you mean, you people?
The same reason Peter Parker is a high school student in the same time in another universe he's in his 40s. Or how Loki in one universe is white and while in another he's African American. The audiences just have to learn to not question it.
I suggest you don't worry about this sort of thing and just enjoy yourself. That goes for you all, too.
But what did you guys think? Did you guys like my kind of pandering explanation of Rama Tut's new look? Or do you think I'm overthinking it? Are you guys pumped for the rest of the season, or am I glazing it too much? Do you guys want me to cover the rest of this show every week? Or do you guys just want me to wait till the finale and I can just wrap up my thoughts after the show ends? Either way, honestly, kind of fun for me. This is Caden Mattenpour saying...
You stay classy.